I'm Jim Littles, the Academic Director for Purpose Institute. I would like to give an overview of field experience for pastors. Now, many pastors will engage as an instructor in your local PI campus, or perhaps you serve as the dean of your campus, so you will have watched the dean's overview as well. But for me, it's vital for pastors to capture the way in which field experience directly ties in to the ministries that you have at work in your local congregation. Or if you have church plants, daughter works, or preaching points, teaching points, or you have a local university campus going on. These are wonderful contexts in which your PI students are going to gain what we might call on-hands training. PI's genius is its adaptability to the local level with its campus's differential needs and the diversities of the students. What an asset that's there. The final goal for PI, of course, is to prepare students for the field. It's not to have them graduate. It's not to have them get an A in every course. PI is successful only as far as local campuses train men and women of faith to engage in the mission field. And what a delight to know that as pastors, this is right at the heart of what your passion is. Your Sunday morning sermon, your teaching on a Wednesday night, or leading a group of leaders on Saturday for some training. All of those things are about preparing men and women for the harvest field. Each of them filled with the Holy Spirit, differentially gifted, each of them equipped to do different things, but PI has the capacity to help you in that way, and that's why you have that PI campus. The Ephesians 4 model is that leadership in the congregation equips men and women for that ministry, which is why PI is adamant that will not become a college, will not serve as a college. Instead, it serves as a ministry equipping arm of that local congregation. This current PI overview and rollout that you're seeing is not a new thing for PI. It's been in place since its inception by Bishop Ellis in Canton, Ohio, over 25 years ago. He's had field experience from the very inception. This is common in all forms of training across the United States and the world. So, for instance, my bachelor's degree is in early childhood education. It included student teaching components and engagements all along the way. PI has intentionally done so. The task of the current addition to PI, improvements to field experience, is to make everything a little more intentional. If, as pastor, you already have a mentoring program in your church, please see the way in which field experience fits into, dovetails into what you already have. Please don't have students do your mentoring program and PI field experience as two separate things. Help them do them together. If you already have a mentoring program, you're already 95% of the way, 90% of the way on the road towards having a successful field experience program in your local congregation. Your field experience director, of which there's a video for that role, is someone your dean will appoint. If you are not the dean, then they will want to do it in a consultation with you as pastor. They will fulfill that leadership role at the local campus. Field experience director could be, in addition to the dean's role, the admin's role. My recommendation is to do what we've done in the North Cities PI campus in Garland, Texas, so that one of the instructors, I carry the field experience director role along with that. Or you might make another independent role of field experience director. If you have a mentoring program, whoever leads that process would be a likely candidate to be that field experience director. If appropriate, that field experience director, if they have an opportunity to, please let them speak to your key leaders, so that your key leaders can see the way in which PI feeds into all of your departments. Every congregation has a different structure for setting up its local programs or local ministries. Please let your field experience director speak to those various departmental heads to see the way in which they could use PI students to be a feeder program for those various ministries. As pastor, we're making sure that students recognize that their participation has to happen at the student's level of readiness. At the student's level of readiness. We're not going to send students out to do that which is beyond their capacity. Jesus in Luke 10 gives specific tasks for the 70 being sent out. As they're going out, they're going to go into homes and provide healing. They're providing peace. They're providing direction and announcing the things that Jesus is going to do as he comes. So we're going to send students at their level of readiness. That's why they need supervisors to oversee their work and to give feedback so that they can grow and mature. Feedback is not criticism, it's critiquing their work. In Luke 10, we see Jesus do that. The disciples come back after their engagement. They celebrate that even the devils were subject to us. And Jesus says, don't rejoice over that. Instead, rejoice that your name is written. In other words, he's wanting them to always rejoice. Don't just rejoice when devils run away, but rejoice because their name is written. They can rejoice in being faithful. As such, your students are going to engage within the building of their local church ministry participation, going to engage in disciple making processes, whether it be initial outreach or teaching home Bible studies or follow-up programs for new converts or guests that have come to your congregation, or you might have assigned them to someone to help mentor them through the course of a year or two. That would be a disciple-making piece. Or missional engagement. It can be a local ministry. It could even be an engagement overseas should they choose to make a missions trip. We'll need the support of supervisors in the congregation. This is why I suggested the field experience director have an opportunity to speak to each of your department heads so that they can have the support of those supervisors, and they will support their supervisors in return, as well as in the community. Field experience director will perhaps build a relationship with the local food banks and volunteer coordinators at hospitals or schools or in the town hall. In conclusion, I'd like to say that PI's Field Experience Program exists to help students move from the classroom to the field, receive guidance for the leaders that you already have put in place, and send them back to the Bible with better questions, and also into the prayer room with kingdom-shaped prayer requests. As they serve in their field, their hearts are going to be tuned by the field. Their prayer requests are not primarily going to be about their life and their needs. Instead, it's going to be about the needs of those which are around them. Pastor, I pray the Lord blesses you in this season. I pray that your congregation experiences a new wave of the working of the Spirit as the Word becomes alive through your preaching and through your teaching, through the various initiatives that you have in your congregation. I pray the PI can play a pivotal role in your development of leaders, both formal leaders for programs, but also those individuals recognize God is sending them for this time. I pray a special unction of the Lord's blessings at this time. Our world is going through tremendous upheaval, and actually that's a blessing for the church, because in times of crisis, light can shine even more brightly. And your students have this treasure in earthen vessels. They may go through times of despair, but they're not going to be broken. Instead, they're going to stand strong and recognize that their labors are not in vain, and that the Master is sending them as ambassadors, as peacemakers in their world right now. We are honored to be a part of your congregation and its initiative to reach in to your community. And we do this because the field is white for harvest.